Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajananandana. Yashodanandana Brajajananandana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jayam Swaparam Chakritrajagacharya Chittara Sadasyaman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridhavan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami to Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami to Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Shri Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, so we have to let us speak.
You are welcome, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
I was hoping you would come a little late so you get fined.
Okay. What can I do? I was looking for a place where I can get good network, so I found myself in the temple.
Oh, okay. Can you position your camera in such a way that your face shows more? We only see your chin. Okay. Okay, that's better. Yes, very good. Okay.
So I can start by chanting Jayarada Madhava.
Yeah, you can. I'm going to put the verse on the screen and then you take it from there.
Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jayarada Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Janava, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Jasodanandana, Jaya Brajajanarangana, Jaya Jasodanandana, Jaya Brajajanarangana, Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhu, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jagana, Jaya Jagana, Jaya Bolo Deva Devi Sumba, Jaya Pralani Singha, Pralani Singha, Pralani Singha, Jaya 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 Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Jaya Radha, Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Nitago, Haribo, 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 Guru Haribo. Jai SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Iskam Guru Vrinda ki, Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Jai Guru Pramanande. All glory to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Narayana Namas, Jana Rotana, Chaivan, Divin Saraswati, Vasanta Pujam, Dirayat, Nasta Praise, Abadresu, Cham Bhagavata Seva, Chaitanya, Bhakti Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, first canto, 14th chapter, verse number 12. The chapter is entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. Disappearance of Lord Krishna. First canto, 14th chapter, verse number 12. So here in Sanskrit. Sivai Sodyantam Adityam Abhirauti Analanana Mam Anga Sarameyo Ayam Abhirebati Abhirubat Sivai Sodyantam Adityam Abhirauti Analanana Mam Anga Sarameyo Ayam Abhirebati Abhirubat Sivai Sodyantam Adityam Abhirauti Analanana Mam Anga Sarameyo Ayam Abhirebati Abhirubat. Word translation. Siva Jakal Esa this Udyantam rising Adityam unto the sun Abhi towards Rauti crying Anala fire Anana face Mam unto me Anga Dima Sarameya dog I am this Abirebati back towards Abirubat without fear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace like AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Just see, oh Bhima, how the sea jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me fearlessly. Please repeat responsibly. Just see, oh Bhima, how the sea jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me fearlessly. Please go away. Go away. I'm sorry. Some children are coming to distract me, so I have to start them. Papa by His Divine Grace, like AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. These are some bad omens indicating something undesirable in the near future. This is the purpose. This is the purpose, just that. These are some bad omens indicating something undesirable in the near future. Hey, Hare Krishna, please. Forgive me for how to sack the distractors, because this needs concentration. Om Agena Timurandasya Gena Gena Salakaya Chaksu Militan Yenata Smai Sri Guru Sri Chaitanya Manu Vistan Stapitan Yenam Vitali Swayam Rupam Kadam Mahiyam Dadati Swapadantika Mukam Karatu Bashalam Pangum Langa Tegum Ya Kripatat Aham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarana Vanchakapatarabiacha Kripasanbiasacha Patitanam Pavanampu Vaishnava Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sibai Sodiantam Adityam Abhirauti Anala Nana Mam Anga Savameyo Ayam Abhirebati Abhirubat. Just see, O Bhima, how the sea jackal cries at the rising sun and vomits fire, and how the dog barks at me fearlessly. So, first we welcome everybody to this wonderful Bhagavatam discourse. And you can see that the text is so powerful. Prabhupada himself just gave one sentence as a purport. But it is beautiful. Because ordinarily it appears a difficult topic, but it's not all that difficult, because, I mean, everything connected to the Lord is very easy. So here is a continuation of the omens that Mara Yudhishthira was experiencing. And they are bad omens. So he was trying to share with the next person. See? When we have something when we experience something undesirable, the first thing is to try to look for someone to share with. But among the 6 forms of loving exchanges, this is one of them. Gunyam Akiati Prichati, revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. So this is one of the ways of practicing loving exchanges among the groups. When we have confrontations, when we have challenges in our minds and in our understanding, we don't keep it to ourselves and try to imbibe it and get swallowed by it. We share, we look for somebody reliable to share with. Though there are some factors that do not enable us to share, everything, especially in this age. So some factors are there. You share something with somebody here, you go and hear it somewhere else in a different way. So these things are obstacles on the part of practicing these loving exchanges. Nevertheless, at least we know how to practice it in a way that will not get choked. So this particular topic is very, very beautiful. It is beautiful because it is dealing with a particular aspect of universal science. A particular aspect of universal science. And it is called Nimita. Nimita. And among the 64 items that Krishna and Balaram learned from their spiritual master Arjuna, and the 49th of them is this. The 49th. out of the 64 is this Nimita Gyan. Therefore, this brings us to the question, what is Nimita? What is Nimita Gyan? Huh? Then later we ask the question, why is it necessary to understand Nimita? How can we apply Nimita Gyan in our daily devotional life? These questions are there and we're going to answer them somehow by His grace. But this is apparently it's a difficult topic, but in actuality, it's a power-packed topic. There are so many revelations there. So anybody who do not attend this class, it will miss something. I'm not going to be the one to say, but the Lord will reveal certain confidential secrets. Only those who are here will benefit. Those who are not here, they exclude themselves from that flow of mercy, from the Lord Himself. You see? So we should define what is Nimita. Because I already said that among what Balaram and Krishna learned from Sandipati Muni, their spiritual master, the 49th out of the 64 is Nimita. Nimita Gyan. So what is Nimita Gyan? If we understand what Nimita is, we'll be able to appreciate. So Nimita Gyan. What is Nimita Gyan? Nimita Gyan means the art and science of observation, recognition, and analysis of signs or omens and foretelling events. The art and science of observation, because the things are already happening, but only the conscious ones observe them. There is a science, there is a way to observe them. There is a way to interpret them. There is a way to recognize them. So the art and science of observation, recognition, and analysis of these signs or omens and foretelling events is called Nimita Gyan. Yes, Krishna's nature is orderly and predictable, but you have to be in knowledge. Yes, the nature is so wonderfully set that in cases of predictable or even unpredictable occurrences, early predictable signs occur. Before anything happens, there are some signs that occur in the universe. And only those who are attentive, who have learned the art and science, will be able to identify them and will be able to recognize them and will be able to analyze them and act accordingly. See? So this is it. Everything, there are early signs. There are early signs, natural, predictable signs occur, for recognizing the higher plan of the Lord. And those who know these signs, they immediately something occurs, they know that this is what it means. Therefore, this is how to adjust. And they adjust and they move ahead. But people are ignorant. So sometimes when they say somebody is good in palmistry, somebody is good in astrology, somebody is good in any kind of science, they begin to doubt, oh, it's not possible. I don't know it because he doesn't know it, just speculating because I don't know it. How many of us know it? They're all speculating. They're never accurate. It is not like that. Our approach should be, we should be appreciative of those who know these sciences and who knows how to recognize them, who knows how to interpret them, and therefore who know how to foretell the future based on these sciences. So this is it. The definition of Nimita. The art and science of observation, recognition, and analysis, of omens and foretelling events accordingly. This is called the Nimita Gyan. Okay? And the purpose of learning Nimita Gyan is to understand the inconceivable hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, behind everything that occurs. This is the purpose, to realize the inconceivable hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, behind everything. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is already ordained, sanctioned by the Lord. So the art and science of recognizing these signs and interpreting them is for you to understand. The purpose is to understand the invisible hand of God and how it is everywhere. Then how you can position yourself. This is the purpose. And this in our philosophy, in the Vaishnava culture, it is called Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan, the science of relationship. How everything is related to God. How all these signs that happen. And you have a lot of them. When they happen, what they mean. Where they are coming from. Why are they happening? They are a smaller picture within a bigger picture. So one who knows the art and science will be able to interpret them. It is very necessary. If we are conscious of these signs, we can avoid so many undesirable things. These occurrences are of two kinds. One is do nimita, that means inauspicious signs. Do nimita. Then there is the other one called su nimita. Su means auspicious. There are auspicious signs, there are inauspicious signs. Okay, so let us take it home. I told you there are many secrets here. They are unfolding now gradually. The goal and purpose of learning the art of Nimita Gyan is to understand the inconceivable hand of the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, behind everything that occurs. And this is the science of relationship. It is called Sambandha Gyan. It's a science, you need to learn it. Those who have learned it, they are always happy and they are never bewildered. Their mental culture is to always remember Krishna and to act in a way that Krishna is in the center and to appreciate, to see the hand of Krishna in every situation. So situations that we ordinarily bewilder other people, never bewilder them because they have learned the art and science of seeing the hand of Krishna in every situation. Okay? That got it. Thus, Nimita Gyan is an art that helps us understand, appreciate, and also participate. It is a sign that helps us to understand, appreciate, and participate in the plan of Sri Krishna. And this is called Abhideya. When you understand and you go ahead to participate, this is Abhideya. At the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, something happened to Arjuna. Arjuna was seeing all kinds of signs. All kinds of signs. There was perspiration on his body. There was quivering. There were so many signs. And these are nimittas. Arjuna is very, very vast in the science of nimittas. He was able to identify the nimittas, but his conclusion is wrong. So in other words, we are trying to say that knowing about the nimittas is one thing. But knowing or identifying the nimittas do not mean that, or does not mean that one can come to the right conclusion. Unless one's ego is purified and cleansed, you cannot come to the right conclusion because of just identifying the nimittas and interpreting them. Arjuna was able to identify the nimittas. He knew their meaning. He was able to analyze them. But because of selfish interests, he came to a wrong conclusion. I will not fight. I will not fight. And Krishna laughed at him. You are talking like a learned man. But you are fool, number one. You will not fight. I will let you know my plan, Arjuna. Try to understand my plan. So in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, verse 33, Krishna revealed his plan to Arjuna. He revealed his plan to Arjuna and said, look, all these people on this battlefield you are seeing, They are all dead. Time I am the destroyer of the whole world. This is my plan. You should just fight and take the glory. Become an instrument in my plan. Become an instrument in my plan. This is the purpose of Nimita Gyan. The purpose of understanding these signs is to become an instrument in the plan of God. When you have Sambandha Gyan, it will lead you to Abhideya. And the Abhideya, the process is to become an instrument in the plan of God. Once you become an instrument in the plan of God, then everything else falls in place. There will be no bewilderment for you. Therefore, among the sub-regulations, the regulations concerning the body, the regulations concerning the body, they are divided into two: bodily regulations and psychological or mental regulations. When our body is regulated by the type of food we eat, the type of way we sleep, the type of things we do physically, the body becomes sound enough to practice devotional service. That's why there are do's and don'ts in the practice of devotional service. First, to check the body. Then there are mental regulations also. What mantra to chant, which books to read, and things to avoid, which type of exercises to do. All these are regulations. Because if the mind is polluted, is not purified, if it is infected by virus, our visualization will be wrong, our imagination will be wrong, our recognition will be wrong, our interpretation will be wrong, our analysis will be wrong, and in the end, the conclusion will be wrong. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, make your mind your friend. The mind that is uncontrolled is an enemy. When the mind becomes controlled, and you engage that controlled mind in my service, then your mind is acting as a friend. But for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached. To such a person, happiness and distress, honor, because he has seen the inconceivable hand of the Lord in every situation. His mind is controlled. So body and mind control, they are not factors determining bhakti. Bhakti is independent of karma and gyan. But karma and gyan, if positive, if in harmony, if they create a favorable environment for the practice of bhakti, they are just complementary. They complement bhakti. Okay? Karma and gyan are meaningless if bhakti is not there. Remove bhakti from karma and gyan and it's just mental speculation and karma activities. But when bhakti is added, then it becomes meaningful. So karma and gyan, they are embellishments, to bhakti. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters are dealing with karma. The last 6 chapters are dealing with gyan, protecting bhakti in the middle. Yes, like in the procession. When you see a king in the procession, in the middle, the king is there, but in front of the king, there is a chanting party. At the back, there is a chanting party. To emphasize the importance of the person in the middle. So bhakti is, the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are dealing with bhakti exclusively. But the first 6 chapters are dealing with karma and the last 6 chapters are gyan. So karma and gyan are decorations on bhakti. Remove bhakti and karma and gyan become obstacles. You see? One becomes a learned man without morality. Educated man without morality. It becomes a sophisticated devil. That's all. Education without morality produces a sophisticated devil or clever devil. Simple. That's why you see many very learned people without the understanding of the relationship with God. They are just speculators and they are funny. In the end, a bhakta, small bhakta, will just defeat them and put them aside. make a laughing stock out of them. Because we ask them questions that they will not be able to answer. So Bhakti is independent of Karma and Gyan, but Karma and Gyan are good embellishments to Bhakti when they create a favorable environment for Bhakti. So this is a point to be understood. Let us understand Nimita Gyan so that we can become Nimita Matra. Nimita Gyan is three-dimensional. Nimita Gyan, Nimita Matram. Nimita Matra means becoming an instrument, which Krishna demanded of Arjuna towards the end of Bhagavad Gita. He demanded this of Arjuna. I said, just become an instrument. Oh, Sabhyasasi. Okay, it was not towards the end. It's in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. After showing him the universal form, he said, Arjuna, just become an instrument in the fight. All these people are already taken care of. You just become an instrument in the fight. And in the end, Krishna did not force him, but he asked him, so are you ready to become an instrument? What is your result? He said, I am ready to become an instrument in your plan. Yes. He said, I'm ready to become, was talking like somebody without it. Krishna knocked off all the egos and made him a humble servant. He said, I'm ready, yes. I will become an instrument in your fight. Even though he didn't have plan to fight initially, the same Arjuna carried the Gandiva bow that was falling from his hand and he started shooting. He started shooting on behalf of Krishna. He was not fighting because of his false ego. He was fighting to please Krishna. So the goal of life is to please Krishna. So all these nimittas you are seeing all around, all kinds of signs, they are there, relevant, made by the Lord himself and his energies. So that when you study them, when you understand, interpret, analyze them, you'll be able to understand the bigger plan behind. Then that will lead you to surrender. Nimita Gyan will lead you to becoming a Nimita Matram. And when you become a Nimita Matram, the last part of Nimita Matram is that you become a Paraloka Sadhana Karma. You practice Paraloka Sadhana Karma. What does that mean? Paraloka Sadhana Karma. What does that mean? That means having observed the omens that indicates death, one goes further to start practicing, regulating his life as somebody who is about to die. When you understand the nimittas, you have to understand, you see the indications that death is just around the corner. What do you have to do? You regulate all your conduct so that you withdraw. You withdraw from all external activities and you begin to practice devotional service pointedly until you leave the body, so that you can become fearless. To leave the body fearlessly in the service of God, you withdraw, you regulate your life accordingly. And in the BHAGAVATAM we saw, when Maharaj Parishit had indication that he was going to leave the body, what did he do? He withdrew from everything. He gave up the kingdom. He gave up all his royal dress for someone who is about to die in 7 days. What should he do? He went looking for somebody to answer his questions about how to die. So the science of how to die is being practiced by one who understands the signs at the time of the signs that predict or indicate the coming of death, the approach of death. He went to perform austerity until he left his body. Katwanga Maharaj, after fighting a lot for the demigods and winning battles for them, they wanted to give him a boon. And he asked them, he said, he's a very intelligent man. He asked them, he said, but how long will I live? What is the remaining duration of my life? They said, just one second, like 48 seconds, 1 moment. Less than a minute. Immediately, he focused on his pure devotional service to the Lord, remove his mind from everything else, and enter into Nirvana Bhajan. And in that process, he gave up the body and entered into the transcendental world. Our Guru Dev did the same thing. He entered into Nirjana Bhajan, and from there he went off. So this is it. Intelligent men do this. So Mother Yudhishthira and his team, you will see. Previously, Narada Muni gave a prediction that the Supreme Lord has already finished his earthly pattern in the service of the demigods. He has done what he came to do. But he's just waiting for the Pandavas to round up their activities. As soon as they do that, he's going to leave. So when Mother Yudhishthira was experiencing all these comments, all these two Nimitas, he immediately came to a conclusion. In the end, Arjuna appeared, and in the end, they all came to the conclusion that it's time to go. So he immediately remembered Krishna's instruction at the time of Kurukshetra battle. He remembered Bhagavad Gita instruction, and he took them very, very seriously. So taking lessons from Mother Yudhishthira and his associates, we should know that we are all about to die. Because all our God brothers who have been Shukla, look at Shukla Mara Prabhu is gone. Look at Tapamaya Prabhu is gone. Just recently, look at Ramanuja Prabhu is gone. Some of us are senior to some of these guys that have gone. Is it not a signal for all of us that any moment, anyone's time is going to come? It is a signal. In other words, technically, we are all about to die. All of us are about to die. And the signs are there. That all those who have been ahead of us, in front of us, including our founder Acharya, he left. Our Gurudev are left. Disciples are left. Those who are younger than us are leaving. Those who are senior to us are recently Ramanuja Prabhu has just left. So is it not a sign enough for us to realize that it will be time for anybody, anytime? Though death never comes to knock your door that Prabhuji, I'm coming tomorrow morning. No, it could be anytime. Anytime. Therefore, we should act in a way that we are all about to die. Therefore, we must know this art and science of paraloka sadhana karma. The sadhana of one who is about to die. This is the prayojana. When you practice this, you will meet Krishna. Just as Maharaj Parishit met Krishna. Maharaj Katanda met Krishna. And many other instances of personalities who just withdrew from all worldly activities and focused on devotional service and met the ultimate goal. There is a verse in the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 37 on the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM that states like this. Bayam tuisya binibe satasya isad apetasya vipariyayo asmriti tanmayayato Buddha abajetam bhaktiyai kayesam Gurudevatatma bhaktiyai kayesam Gurudevatatma. What does that mean? That means fear. Fear arises when a living entity misidentifies himself with the material body because of what? Absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. Yes. Fear arises when a living entity identifies himself as a material body because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. Yes. And this is the fear that is haunting everyone. And when the living entity turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is affected by the potency of illusion called Maya. Therefore, Bhaktiyai Kayesam Gurudevatatma. Therefore, Bhaktiyai Kayesam Gurudevatatma. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and as his very life and soul. Just as Mara Parishijit. He went and surrendered to Sukadeva Goswami at the bank of the Ganges. And he did devotional service to the end. He absorbed himself. Bhaktiya Ikaye Sam Gurudeva Tatma. The plan of the Lord is not easy to recognize. Even it was difficult for Arjuna to know. How much more we? The Lord luckily revealed it to Arjuna. But we have pure devotees in the chain of Paramparam, whom the Lord has also revealed this plan to. Therefore, the plan of the pure devotee is not different from the plan of the Lord. Therefore, when you take a pure devotee as a guru and work diligently under his direction and guidance, you will achieve the desired destination, the desired result. So we should take the guru as our life and soul, his instruction as our life and soul, and take him as our worshipable deity and walk under his guidance. Then everything that is apparently inauspicious become auspicious. Everything that is apparently inauspicious, including death. You see that death will serve as a reminder. The death of somebody will serve as a reminder that your stay in this material world is temporary. Therefore, do not make permanent arrangement in a temporary environment. There is nothing permanent here. You will change your body. So just, modulate. Just try to mold your actions. Only streamline to what is necessary. And don't be distracted. Don't lose focus. When the dry leaf falls, it's a warning to the green one that its own turn is coming. It is going to get dry and it will fall. When dry firewood is used for fire, it is a warning to the green one that very soon it will also fall as wood. Then it will become dry and be used for fire. So we should learn. These are all indicators, universal indicators, that death is just around the corner. So we should know what is called Nimita Gyan. Which are these auspicious and inauspicious universal signs? Because they are both auspicious and inauspicious ones. But you can learn from both of them. Yes. And if you are versed in these universal signs of Nimita Gyan, you'll be able to see the solutions also. There are solutions, there are ways to regulate the influence of this negative, to counterbalance the influence of all the negative nimitas. It is there. When the inhabitants of Vrindavan saw negative influences, what did they do? They took shelter of the cow. They took shelter of the cow. They did so many things with the cow. So many things they did with the cow. They knew how to utilize the tail. They knew how to utilize the dung. They knew how to utilize the urine of the cow. They knew how to utilize everything. They knew how to utilize everything of the cow. And they just took shelter of the cow and they purified everything accordingly. And there are a series of verses in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. 10th canto, chapter 6, verse 20 and 21. We can start with those two. 10th canto, chapter 6, verse 20, then 21. Yes. 20. It said that Mother Yasoda and Rohini, along with the other elderly ladies, they waved the air from the tail of a cow to give full protection to the child Sri Krishna. Yes, to give protection to the child Sri Krishna. And what else did they do? What else did they do? They said the child was thoroughly washed with cow urine. The child was thoroughly washed with cow urine and then smeared with the dust raised by the movement of the cows. Then different names of the Lord were applied with cow dung, on 12 different parts of his body, beginning with the forehead, as done in applying tilak. In this way, the child was given protection. You see, And if you go to chapter 70 also, if you go to chapter 70 of the 10th canto, verse 10, chapter 70, 10th canto, chapter 70, verse 10. He said that he would then look at Gi, a mirror, that is Krishna himself, his daily activities. Early in the morning, he will rise up 4:30 a.m. Then he will start his activities. And among them is that Lord Krishna will offer obeisances to the cow. He will offer obeisances to the cow, brahmanas and demigods, his elders and spiritual master, and all living beings, all of whom are expansions of his supreme personality. Then he will touch auspicious things. He will then look at Gi, a mirror, that is verse 12, the cows, the bulls, the brahmanas, and the demigods, and see to it that the members of all the social classes living in the palace and throughout the city were satisfied with gifts. After this, he will greet his ministers, gratifying them by fulfilling all their desires. So like this, a lot of things are there. And when you understand the Nimitas, it will be easy for you to apply them positively and relate them to Krishna and act as his instrument and attain the desired goal. So you will see towards the end of this chapter and to the other chapter, you will see that Mara, Yudhishthira, and all his brothers, they remembered the instructions of Krishna at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they decided to implement everything there with rapt attention. So these Nimitas are reminders that the end is very close, and therefore we should act in a way that will reflect that kind of understanding. We regulate our daily lives accordingly. This is the way. So I told you before, this particular chapter, a particular text, is a small text, but it's mighty. It's mighty. It's dealing with revelations. It's dealing with Nimita Gyan. Nimita Gyan. Nimita Gyan, as I earlier gave the definition. Nimita Gyan. Nimita Gyan. Nimita Gyan is the art and science of observation, recognition, and analysis of omens and foretelling events. This is called Nimita Gyan. Okay? And the goal and purpose of learning the art of Nimita Gyan is to understand the inconceivable hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, behind everything that occurs. This is called Sambandha Gyan, or to establish the relationship. Thus, Nimita Gyan is an art that helps us understand, appreciate, and participate in the plan of Sri Krishna, called Abhideya. The plan of Sri Krishna is called Abhideya, and that's why he invited Arjuna, just become an instrument in my plan. He revealed the plan to Krishna, to Arjuna, that he has already taken care of all these people, but he just wants to use him as an instrument in the fight. Therefore, become an instrument. And Arjuna agreed, and he became an instrument, and he fought vehemently. He fought vehemently. Krishna said, you do the karma. When you do this fight, I will take the karma, you take the yoga. That means Krishna sacrificed all the results to Arjuna. You do the karma, I take the yoga. You give me the karma, and you take the yoga. So you do this as an instrument on my behalf. If there's any sinful reaction you think, I will absorb it. But you act according to my plan. And he did, and he was successful. So the goal of creation, the goal of all the manifestations, the goal of all the universal sciences, including palmistry, astrology, Nimitas, they are all reminders, eye openers for us to see that all these are small plans within the bigger plans of the Lord. That the hand, the supernatural, the inconceivable hand of the Lord is behind everything, so that we can see and relate to it and try to become an instrument. We cannot, there is no existence outside of God. Everything you see in existence is part of the Lord. And that's why in the Bible it says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Mata Sarvam Pravatate. Iti Matwa Bachantima, Buddha Bhava Samavita. Affirmed in all the world, both material and spiritual, everything emanates from me. Everything emanates from me. And the wise who knows this perfectly engage in my devotional service with all determination. There is nothing outside of God. So when we study these things, we come to realize how little we know, so that we can then appreciate those who are actually in knowledge and who have become devotees, who have given up all interest in worldly things. We can follow their footsteps and eventually arrive. Or we learn the art and science of engaging everything we see in existence in glorifying God. So that even though we are acting, we will not be affected by the sinful reaction. And we are acting as instruments in the hands of God. If we do so, our destination is guaranteed. So let us learn a lesson from this. There are so many signs happening all around that we are not attentive. Therefore, we are not seeing. So if you meet me secretly, I will give you so many signs. Most of the time, the left side of the body, whatever happened there, throbbing, this and that happens here, shaking of the left thighs, eyebrow, they are all due nimitas. They are inauspicious, undesirable occurrences. And they signal you so that you can know how to adjust. Then those on the right are desirable. They are su nimitas. We should understand these signs of nimita gyan, so that we can appreciate God more, appreciate his plan for us more, and we can now appreciate his arrangement to take us back to him. We cannot exist outside of him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So thank you.
Krishna, thank you so much. His Grace Chaitanya PREMA Prabhu Ki Jai. Prabhuji, we only see your forehead. Yes. Okay, good. Now we see the full image. When you were reading the purpose, I was thinking to myself, well, I have to give myself an assignment. You know, like in the Bible, everybody knows the shortest verse in the Bible is, and Jesus wept. So I was thinking, what is the shortest purpose that Prabhupada ever gave in the BHAGAVATAM? I think this might be the one. But it's fully loaded. Thank you so much. Yes, fully loaded. So at this point, devotees, whoever has something to say, please go ahead and then unmute. Go ahead and then speak. But with this Nimitas, it's very interesting. It is said that there are 80 different branches of these Nimitas. So ordinarily, we hear people say that the mind is the index. Sorry, the face is the index of the mind. Now, do you believe in that saying? Do you believe in that statement? When people say the face is the index of the mind, that is like, once you see the face of the individual, you can tell what is going on in the person's mind.
You're asking whether I believe in that?
Yeah.
Yes, why not? I believe. The face is the index of the mind. The Prabhupada said it. So who am I to say otherwise?
Well,
the index of the mind is part of the revelation of the universal, nimitas.
Well, I ask that because the face is the index of the mind, I think it is only true when a spiritualist says that. But a lay person, an ordinary person saying that the face is the index of the mind cannot be true. Or I shouldn't say cannot be true, but I should say may not be true. Because we're looking at the facial expression of the person and judging that this person is this or that. The other time I was fortunate enough to give class, I was saying that different cultures tolerate pain differently, right? And so certain cultures, people from certain cultures, even though they may be going through so much pain, but you look at their faces, you don't see the sign of pain. But if someone is a spiritualist, if someone is a clairvoyant, which is another branch of the Nimita, then even though the person may not be showing signs of pain, but still he can see. So that's what I'm saying, that I'm thinking that if Srila Prabhupada says that, he's saying that because as a spiritualist, as a clairvoyant, you can tell. But ordinary people, like people using psychology like that, you can be cheated sometimes. There are some hardcore criminals that will do the most abominable thing. You look at their faces, you can never tell.
Yeah, that is right. That is very right. You see, the face is the index of the mind, but hypocrisy when it is hypocrisy in action, people draw the face to make different expression, trying to delude the onlookers. But the actual face that is still, the still face that is not moving, the face that is not moving is actually the index of the mind, for a start, because it's a carryover from previous life. It's a spell cast. It's a spell from the previous life, and everything is aggregated to make a particular type of face. And that's where you have a particular type of jaw, you have a particular type of nose, you have a particular type of eyes, particular type of forehead. So when it is still unmanipulated, you look at it very well, you see everything. Those who know the signs of the face as part of the Nimita, they know. They say, this person is like this person is like this. They see. Until they look at the palms, they see. The fingers, they see. The shape of the whole body, they see. And these are all different branches of the Nimita. And there are three broad categories. Nimitas related to the earth. Nimitas that appear in the sky, and the Nimita that appear in the body and mind. Body and mind means including dreams of different kinds. Nimitas, different categories of nimitas. Yeah. And they are all languages, universal languages being spoken. Then for one who is practicing the art and science of nimitas, he knows everything. And you cannot delude him by drawing the face in a particular way, creating external masquerading. You cannot deceive him. You can deceive the ordinary person. But for one who is trained in the art and science, you cannot deceive him. After doing all the drawings, he's waiting for the time you will become still. That's the time you will read the face and give you the accurate you based on that sign. So it's a science. The face is actually the index of the mind. It's the aggregated karma of previous life, which is manifested on low frequency. From high frequency, which is the subtle frequency, it's generated, pass through the machine and a different vibration. Finally, it comes to the grossest or lowest frequency, still with made of earth and sea. So it's a spell that cannot be changed. That's why even if you look at the pigs and co, this spell is it's a software actually. It's a software. A software is prepared out of their previous lifetime activities. a software is prepared. And a body is made in the shape of the software on the physical level. So they cannot change, the dog cannot change his habits like that, fundamental habits of barking after bones, going towards tools, unless the ones that are adulterated or trained in a particular direction. But all dogs generally salivate when they see bones and stool and all that. And the pig salivates when it sees, because the senses are all, casted in the software. The type of things that they will be attracted to, those are the things they will be attracted to. So the software within the body determines the hardware. So the mind is part of the software. It's the aggregate of the software. And the hardware is just an instrument with which the software is operating. So in this, software and hardware.
Software and hardware, yes.
It's all right. You can't change the dog from salivating when it sees stool, or a pig from salivating when it sees liquid stool.
Yeah.
Go for it. No matter what, even if you're wearing the best of coats, or even silken sari or whatever, or dhoti, you will just dive into the mud and start drinking liquid stool. You just be hearing the sound.
Yeah.
Because the software is that, and the body is just instrumental. Yeah. So the face is the index of the mind. Yeah.
Well, I said that because I love palmistry, and palmists throw a challenge to that concept, and palmists actually say that the palm is the index of the line, because with the palm nothing is hidden, but the face is the index of the mind is also true if someone knows how to read. But those who do not read, they just say it because others are saying it. They say they can't read.
They are not trained in the science of Nimita.
They are not trained.
They are ignorant of the workings of Nimita, so they can't understand anything.
You were saying that it's very helpful. It's nice. You were actually encouraging that those who want to learn, they should see you, which is beautiful. But don't you think that sometimes it's better not to know these sciences because I'm a married man, right? Before I married, I did not look at these signs, even though I knew them before I married, because there are signs that you can tell from a woman. If that woman becomes your wife, you are going to die before the woman. It's clearly there. If you know it, you see it. Or if the woman comes into your life, everything you do in your life is going to go waste. You'll be struggling and never make a headway. All these things are there. There are some people that come into your life, they will just come and bully you and control you. But of course, I did not consider these things before I married, even though I knew them, because Gurudev actually told me not to read devotees' palms. Right? He told me not to read devotees' palms. So the understanding is that when one becomes a devotee, these Nimitas may be there, but they could be nullified. Is that the case? Is that the reason why Gurudev advised me in particular not to read the palms of devotees? And Srila Prabhupada also said when devotees go before the deities and clap their hands, the palm, the lines in the palm, the karma gets changed. Is that the reason why sometimes we say that the devotees should not be read, or you should not delve into these limites?
The point is that for devotees, those who are engaged in devotional service, everything can change because that is the whole sign, universal science of regulating. So there is what is called untimely death, actually. Sometimes there is untimely death. Yes. And though if you try to relate that to karma, you cannot actually distinguish which is untimely or which is not untimely. But actually there is untimely death. And it's being spoken of. And those who know the science of Nimita, they know how to regulate. But the ultimate regulator is to engage in devotional service. When you engage in devotional service full time, you see that all inauspicious things become auspicious because they are transcendently absorbed in the service of the Lord. The Lord takes away the karma. He removes you from being conducted by Maya to being conducted by Yoga Maya. You change your ground. Then you dodge all the other things. There is one devotee, one personality in the Bhagavatam, I think in the 9th canto, Pisada also. He was among his father's children. He was like the youngest, and he was taking care of the cows. And a lion came in the night, and he heard the sound of the lion. He was very expert in shooting, and he shot. And mistakenly, he shot the cow. And the spiritual master came and became very, very angry. And he caused him to leave his body just very soon. And immediately, Pisada went into devotional service and he surrendered his life fully. And engaged in devotional service, and he dodged the effect of the cause entirely. He dodged. So there's a powerful loophole. If you really want to escape from all the karma that is supposed to meet you, if you just absorb yourself in devotional service, all those things. So when you're reading devotees, it might not be accurate because there could be alterations. You see. So, but for karmis, most of the time, it is very accurate. You see. And though for devotees also, those who are not very, who are not really deep into it, the effect will still follow them for a long time. But it is there. It is there. And devotional service can change everything. See? So that's why in the end, everything in the universe is to help us to become devotees of the Lord, act as his instrument, and also help others to connect. Then we are transcendently absorbed, and our life is successful. That is it. So you can still do the palmistry. Do the palmistry. You can use it as a building block or a bridge to bring in people into devotional service. Build, when you tell them, predict accurately. Having known the science, you predict accurately, they are shocked. You know them. Then you give them something higher. And step by step, you lead them into devotional service. And they begin to render devotional service. And that becomes transcendental. So the more people you can bring, like I said, people are so attracted to this external, you can do that and expertly guide them into devotional service as a matter of bridge making. Very, very important. It's a science and we have to utilize it. But you need somebody who is actually trained in it to do it expertly. Otherwise, himself get lost in the process.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chaitanya. Anyone else with something to say, ask? See, that was a study made. And if the study goes like this. If you want to buy a car, if you want to buy a vehicle, now this is a very good hint to you all. If you want to buy a car, look for when the car was manufactured, the date. If the date was, let's say, today is 28, say April 28. If you check the date and the day was Wednesday, that is a very good vehicle. You buy it, it's going to last long. Because we have 5 working days in a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, people are coming back from weekend. They are still kind of sloppy. Wednesday, they are really active. Thursday, Friday, people become lousy because they wanted to check out, you know. So today is Thursday. It looks like the devotees are already trying to check out, you know. Everybody is so quiet today.
Oh, my hand is up, Prabhu.
Oh, come in, Prabhu. Thank you. Please unmute. Unmute
Yes,
yourself. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, His Grace Chaitanya PREMA Prabhu, for your wonderful lecture. I have some contradiction in my mind that I want you to help me out. One time I was watching one movie, and in that movie there was this particular man. His duty is that he's trying to help people clean, to become clean. That is, people who are drug addicts, you know, because himself has already passed that, passed through that situation before. So he developed kind of a compassion mode to help them. So he started helping people. So what happened is that at a particular time, when he now realized he's going to die by cancer, so he was now feeling somehow that he doesn't want to leave those people that he has been helping. He doesn't want to leave them behind. He's afraid that maybe he doesn't want to die alone. So he tried to arrange to kill, including himself and all those people he has been helping. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that sometimes we see that in our preaching, let me give Srila Prabhupada as an example. We can see that in every page of Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada is always talking about devotion, pure devotional service to Krishna, devotional service to Krishna, and pure devotional service. And we see some devotees when they are preaching, they talk about poverty. If you want to get Krishna, poverty, you have to be poor. And you see some other devotee, they talk about death. You have to die, you will die tomorrow, you will die. And you can see that everybody take the kind of mood they want to take and they preach like that. Like I was giving an example of this man, because he wants to die, so everything he wants to kill everybody together with him. So my question is that, is it possible that when we are studying scripture, the spiritual books, something personally entices, kind of draw our attention, and it covers us, and that is only what we see, even around us and everything. Because you see some people also, they pure about devotion, they talk about pure devotion, even though maybe they are not pure, I don't know. Only Krishna can tell. So what do you think about this, Prabhu? Please help me to clarify my doubts.
Oh, Prabhu, you have no doubt. You have no doubt. All aspects of the elephant is still part of the elephant. So whether you touch the tail, it is still the elephant. Whether you touch the trunk, it's still the elephant. Whether you touch the leg, it's still the elephant. If you touch the ears, it's still the elephant. So this transcendental knowledge actually is multidimensional, and every aspect is true. So if a particular person is preaching at a particular time, sometimes if it's the proper attitude, the super soul himself, inspire him to talk in a particular way because of a particular person in the audience that the super soul has identified to help at that time. It is the Lord that is acting, we are only instruments. So if we talk and emphasize on a particular aspect, that we touch that particular person so much that that particular person will take it very serious and see the sense of the urgency in taking up devotional service. So in that way, you are successfully awakening one person, being an instrument in the hand of the super soul. So we cannot edit how we should preach, what we should preach. We should just try to be in the proper mental attitude so that the Lord will speak through us to emphasize on a particular aspect at a particular time. That aspect is not the only aspect. All aspects are deep. That's why there is what harmonizes or unifies all the varieties is that denominator for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. That denominator unifies all varieties. So if that denominator is there and a particular aspect is being, hammered, emphasized at a particular, is good for that time for some particular persons. Another person emphasizes another aspect. In this way, we carry everyone along, multi-sockets. This is the point. Okay? So you are right. You don't have any doubt. It's not a doubt. It is a thing that is happening. And we should see that the Lord uses some people to emphasize certain aspects at some particular time. And it's all good. It's all good. Yes. Poverty, no poverty, no. Somebody come at the emphasize, but it's good. Somebody reminds us about death at a particular time, it's good. Another person reminds us of how to integrate the two.
What I'm trying to say is that sometimes you see that this particular devotee always, speak about this particular topic. You understand? Let's say, for example, now, poverty. It will just seem be a hammering on poverty that one cannot go back to the Krishna unless you become poor, And he has forgotten that Pundarika Vidyani also was rich.
Yeah, so he's still right. He's still right. There is a way to balance it when the need arises. Yeah. And that's why we are all there. If somebody hammer too much in one direction, all devotees are there to draw his attention. You have to create the balance, otherwise you are going one way. Understand? In fact, let me reveal one secret again. One secret here is the question of devotees of Krishna becoming poor, being poverty-stricken, and to the tune of even Sudama Vipra. Sudama is a very packed devotee. I don't think any of us will near him. We cannot near his type of devotional service. Yet he was so impoverished externally that it was unbelievable. When the queen saw how Krishna he sat him on his own personal bed and he was taking care of him, washing his feet with joy and shower, putting the water on his head. They said, what pious activities must this wretched looking man have done to deserve this kind of service attention from the supreme, our master, the husband of the goddess of fortune? Yeah? What? So it creates some doubts in the mind of many devotees. A powerful devotee like this remain poor when the goddess of fortune is Krishna's servant. A Krishna powerful first-class devotee like this, Narayana Parayana Bhakta like this, is so poor. The answer is this. And that's why I say it's a revelation. The answer is that some devotees are totally averse to acquiring material opulence. They are against acquiring material opulence. Why? Because they are trying to protect their own devotional service. That they are not advanced enough to be able to manage material opulence. Therefore, they turn their back from it and they face this other direction. Anything material, they frown at it. Those people, Krishna doesn't forcefully give them material opulence. Krishna doesn't force material opulence on them. But those who are indifferent to material opulence, who believe in Krishna's
Yukta Vairagya.
Yukta Vairagya, the principle of Yukta Vairagya. Krishna gives them the opulence. He gives them the intelligence to walk through the narrow thread without losing focus. So these two are still pure devotees. But Krishna tries to protect the interests of both devotees. This one is afraid of this. He feels that he cannot manage material opulence. Therefore, he turned his back from it at all completely. And that was the case of Sudama Vipra. Yeah? But those who are devotees of Krishna, who are indifferent to, who are not advanced to acquiring wealth, Krishna gives them. So this is the secret. Where do you belong? And that is the matter. So we are saying you can get enough opulence as devotees of Krishna and you still remain a devotee. You see? But
Baba, I want to be like Pudarika Vidyanidhi.
yes, we are not very advanced to be able to manage that opulence that can sweep our feet off the devotional service. And Sudama was telling them that, telling Krishna that, look, he said, look, me, I'm not like Prahlad Maharaj. These are very advanced devotees. It's called healthy fear. These are advanced devotees, so advanced that they can manage all these opulences, fame, manage everything without getting proud or getting lost. But for me, I don't think I can do it. I'm not as advanced as them. Therefore, let me not go for it. I don't want. So he was shocked that when he finally got it, with that mindset, said, okay, the Supreme Lord, no one else can do this but my master, Krishna. I will engage everything in the service of Krishna very consciously. And in this way, he went ahead and tried to engage everything in the devotional service and eventually succeeded. You see? So let us accommodate all diversity. Okay?
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Anadi Nidanam Prabhu, please unmute.
Krishna Prabhuji's Dandavat Pranam. So, Krishna Prabhu, I would like to know these omens we are talking about, is it relative to each and every individual or is the same as far as every human being is concerned?
There are general ones.
Oh, okay.
But mostly they are general. That's why they are predictable. The pattern of the Lord is predictable. They are general. But some individual their own can be different. Maybe under Krishna says Yoga Maya superintendent. He can make, he can interpret someone else completely different, and it will not be applicable to the next person. But generally, they are universally applicable to everyone. When the signs happen, what it means is what it means. But what is the difference is that it's the individual level of consciousness. When the omen happens, how the individual is able to interpret it and the conclusion it comes to is based on his own level of consciousness. That's why even though Arjuna was able to predict, identify and predict the omens that were happening around him, that disaster is going to happen, but his conclusion was wrong. That is strictly dependent on the individual's consciousness. When a pure devotee sees the omens, he only sees Krishna's hand in every situation. So to him, it's a backdrop for transcendental engagement. It's a backdrop for becoming deeper in his devotional service. It's an udipana. It's a stimulant for devotional service, more devotional service. But the other person whose consciousness is corrupted by some virus, it is not going to be an udipana for devotional service. It will come to a wrong conclusion and go into wrong action and create more complications for himself. So that is where the difference actually lies. The individual's consciousness, how he's able to relate all these omens to the bigger plan of the Lord. How he's able to fit them in the bigger plan of the Lord.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, Prabhu, I have a follow-up. Please, so as the age elapses, can we say these things also, these omens will also diminish along the ages, or to continue to be there?
The omens are actually, for information, they are beyond birth and death.
Oh, okay.
Yes. They happen. They are just rules that happen. Even in the spiritual world, there are omens.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Hare Krishna. They are just indicators. They are universal. They are indicators of what is happening, what is about to happen, what will happen. They are the ones in the sky. They are innumerable until astrology becomes part of them. The ones in the sky, the omens in the sky, the alignment of the planets, at a particular constellation, particular junction, it produces a particular way. It's a science. And those who are trained in the art and science of Nimita, they get this, they interpret, and they become gurus in those fields. So, and those on earth also, and those among the animals, and do you know that the crow is one of them? Generally, people see crow as a very bad creature, but crow is not all that bad. It's very, very intelligent at the same time. So, in relation to crow, there are two Nimitas, inauspicious Nimitas. There are also Su-Nimitas, auspicious Nimitas. You hear the story of how a crow was able to drink water from a very deep pot. The crow was very thirsty, and there was water in the pot, but the pot was big and deep. So this crow came and meditated. So immediately, he went to pick some pebbles, and he started putting pebbles in the pot until the more the pebbles, the volume of water continued to rise until the water rose to the surface, and he drank it nicely and satisfied himself and went away. So many of us, even the lizards, there are a lot of Nimitas around the lizards. And there are specific signs of death. Specific signs of death. Signs that when these signs happen, both either in your dream, it means death to you. Even physically, it means death to you. There are signs of death. Both in the sky, there are signs of death. Both on the earth, there are signs of death. Both in your individual body, there are signs of death. They are all Nimitas. And it's a science. And it happened in all this report in the Mahabharata, in the Ramayana, and in SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, many Nimitas. So Nimita Gyan is very, very important. We should know it. Those who have inclination to know, they should know. And if people know it, we should appreciate them. We should not be envious of them. Yes, they are able to interpret things and they can even make adjustments in a way that anybody can be benefited. You can adjust the happiness in your life based on the Nimitas. Hare Krishna. Go, Ranga.
Thank you so much. Can we put Prabhu please on?
Yes, Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, is Nimita same thing as superstition?
Oh, no. It's not superstition. They are predictable. Nimitas are accurate. Once you know the science, the question of superstition is not there again. It is because those who don't know.
What happened is that Prabhupada gave some example in the Bhagavatam. I don't know whether it's superstition or Nimitas they will call it. Like if they say Prabhupada said that when he was talking, when we read the story of Kamsa, like he will not see his body inside the mirror, And there's another one Prabhupada also spoke about, like if you are going out, if you meet an empty bucket on the road, and some devotee also confirmed that Prabhupada even we ask devotee to put bucket of water, and all those we call it superstition. So, but there are signs also. That's why I'm asking whether is it the same.
They are not superstitions. They are Nimitas. They are predictable universal Nimitas. Prabhupada has knowledge about that. Do you know that Narada Muni is an authority in Nimita Gyan? Narada Muni and many great sages are authorities in Nimita Gyan. So that Prabhupada had knowledge of Nimita. And it is not superstition. They are Nimitas. They are universal signs. And those who know the signs, they are able to predict accurately. They identify, they interpret, they predict.
So, Prabhu, what is the role of pure devotional service? What is the effect of pure devotional service on Nimita? Let's say, for example, now, it is in we saw it in Nimitas. Let's say, for example, now, according to the Nimitans, if you are going now, you want to go and collect some money from your somebody who is owing you money, and you meet empty bucket on the road, surely you will not get that money that day, according to limiters or superstition, as you may call it. But what about if you have pure devotional service and you don't want to care about all this limiter? What is the effect of devotional service on limiter? Sorry, Prabhu.
Okay, the point is that all limiters are supposed to help somebody to become a pure devotee. So if one becomes a pure devotee of limiters, a pure devotee of Krishna, if somebody becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, actually he's transcendentally situated because he's not being conducted by the external energy anymore. So what would be different for someone else who is not a pure devotee will be different from the person who is a pure devotee. Even though they are universal signs, but because each has become a pure devotee, he is no longer being conducted by the external energy. It's conducted by the internal energy. So Krishna can turn everything the other way around for a pure devotee. All impossible things become possible for the pure devotee because of the grace of Krishna, the special touch of Krishna's hand. You see, it turns all limiters, they harmonize in devotion to Krishna. They bow down to Krishna. And Krishna can turn, it's just a small aspect of him. He's a big person, full of powers and energy. So he can convert any negative limiter into a positive one, or even make limiter ineffective, and either in his presence or in the presence of the pure devotees, especially in the presence of yoga man, you see, and creating the background for its pastime. So that is it. The limiters cannot confront pure devotees. When they appear in front of pure devotees, they are very careful. So, we limiters, we are also devotees of Krishna. This person is a pure devotee.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And
embracing and rolling on the ground. So that is it. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Shri Chaitanya Prabhu, I have a follow-up question to Kavikana Prabhu's first question. And his question was, different devotees may read from the scriptures and then pick on one or two particular statements and base their preachings on them. And I have seen that, these amazing devotees, they may have all the different angles of devotional service, but one or two becomes prominent. But that does not mean that they do not have the others. Just like our Gurudev, he was performing devotional service all around, but his main focus was devotee care and a relationship. Like Radhanath Maharaj, Trinad Api Sunichena, that has been his mantra ever since he became a devotee till today. You know, how to become humble and serve others. So everybody is picking one particular aspect which corresponds to their nature. Krishna says in the Gita that we should worship him, we should use our nature to worship him according to our nature. But what I see in devotional service, especially lately, is that we try to force people's nature and make them do what is unnatural to them. And to me, that becomes a problem, because if somebody likes to sing and dance, and now somebody is telling you, no, you cannot sing and dance, don't play drums, you are impeding or obstructing that devotional progress. Somebody's source of devotional pleasure is honorary prasadam. And now you tell him, don't eat too much prashadam. What are you doing today, Timothy? Somebody likes to preach. He said, don't preach. Go to the farm. How is he going to do well? And so my question is, does it help when we have to change people's natural tendencies in performing devotional service and forcibly make them do what we think we want to see them do? Does that help?
We should not do that because that is tantamount to violence, actually. It's violence. You see? It's violence. We should not do that. There is unity in diversity. Huh? There is devotees propagate unity in diversity. What is the diversity? We all have different mellows. We have different bhavas. But all these bhavas are united in service to Krishna. So service to Krishna or the pleasure of Krishna becomes the denominator that unites all varieties. So that's why there is unity in diversity, and there is still diversity in unity. So the essence that even in the spiritual world, even the gopis, they have different mellows, and they all perfect their mellows. So we should be broad-minded. We have to practice to be broad-minded enough to be able to appreciate others' mellows, others, fields of competitive competence, other people's cycles of influence, so that we can bring these varieties, the best of this person, the best of that person, the best of that person, all bring them together to cook a mystical soup for the pleasure of the Panapana. That is it. But to try to make somebody take to my own mellow, for him to make him to leave his own mellow to come and take it, it's violence. And it's not allowed. There is even among the gopis, their mellows are different. Somebody is in a parental mood, somebody is in conjugal mood, somebody is in a friendly mood, somebody is in servitude mood or neutrality. All these mellows are to be respected, independent of the other. But we should be so trained that we should be able to recognize unity in diversity and diversity in unity. Then we can appreciate everyone and please Krishna better. Go down there.
Thank you so much for the answer. Thank you so much. Just like Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, but he was declining to fight. So Krishna had to chastise him. That's not your nature.
You want to practice another person's nature.
No,
it's better to do your own nature, even if imperfectly.
Yeah,
than to try to practice another's nature.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu, you have something to say? Shivara, if you are there, please prepare your mind because we would like to hear from you. Yeah, Hare Krishna, please go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, my question is like a follow-up to the question you just asked about, like for instance, now in ISKCON, people are always being said, we are always trying to like somehow, I mean, even though we say like it's like an option, but it looks like say, can you do Bhakti Vrisha? Can you do Bhakti Bhaivava and all these things? What about if that person is not inclined to, I mean, in like studying, but he's inclined to another aspect of devotional service. You were talking, you were mentioning if someone is inclined to eating prashadam, even in our regular lives, like if materially in our regular lives, you may have kids. Some of your kids may not even be inclined, to go to school. But it's like you try to push on. And some people have realized that if they allow the kids to take, like, instead of pushing him to go to school and this thing, they rather allow the child to maybe learn a trade. And by the time they realize the child is like doing so good in trading, because it's like part of him, it's like a natural tendency for the child. So similarly in devotional service, I know some devotees who are not like, I mean, they are not inclined to be in Shastrik or something. All they want to do is to do some service, whether it's manual service or not. So what are we doing to encourage people from all those angles? Is it bad if someone is not inclined to become very Shastrik, read books and become quote big what do we call it?
Okay.
Slokas. And so what do we do about that? I mean, the question I'm just saying is like a follow-up question to what you just asked. So what about that aspect too?
Yeah, that is understandable. Not everyone is inclined to do the same thing. So we should be trained we should be open or broad-minded enough to be able to accommodate these varieties. Yes, but in the course of maybe campaigning for people to come on board for studies, somebody may try to fish out, throw the net here and there, everybody, encouraging everybody to come. But it's only those who are inclined to study that will actually come. But it's spreading the net to identify whoever is inclined. Yeah? And sometimes we encourage those who are not directly inclined or who are engaged otherwise to support, maybe to sponsor somebody who is interested but doesn't have the finance. So we say everyone can actually participate. If you cannot do directly, you can sponsor somebody. If you cannot sponsor for somebody, okay, we say we need your support in the way of maybe giving data to some students in your area or giving data to the facilitator. Somehow or the other, everyone can. And if you are going and doing good in computer work, you can help us to build a website. And if you are good in social media, we try to encourage everybody to participate somehow or the other. But it's a way of just pushing that this program is very important. All programs are important. But since the person is driving for success, he's trying to spread his hand everywhere, encourage everyone. Anybody who can come up directly to studies will come. Those who cannot, will come to do directly, they can support in this way. It's a way of fanning the fire of the same devotional service, from different. So there's nothing wrong in trying to spread energy all around to catch some people who can become directly. Nothing wrong in that. It's like, calling for general call, come around, let us do it, let's do it. If you cannot do it, but in the end, it's not going to force you that you come and do it if you are not inclined. We encourage you to support somebody doing. That's all. So it's just a campaign strategy. That's all. We are just campaigning.
Thank you so much, His Grace Chaitanya Prema Prabhu. It's amazing how you've been able to do such wonderful justice to this text. I would have wished that whoever did the scheduling would have given you would have given the speaker the follow-up text also, because it has one sentence. To speak on one sentence is amazing. You did amazingly. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if anyone, Srimad Bharata Prabhu, we would like to hear from you.
You have to excuse me. I am busy. I'm busy. I will not be able to comment. Class. With some people here. So,
Thank you. We have your darshan anyway. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, Sadhu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So when are you going to give? You always ask Sarah Prabhu to comment. When are you going to give him an opportunity to speak also?
Oh, Varaha Prabhu. Even Varaha Prabhu. Well, I'm not the overall boss. I wish I was the overall boss. So
you can tell the person. Prabhu has been always he has been here every day to listen to everybody.
You want to hear from me?
If I can comment on that, you see, this hour is my service hour, so I cannot really give class during this program. So I enjoy attending the class. but I will not be able to give class between 3 o'clock and 4:30. I'm outside, doing my field work, distributing infrastructure. So please, that hour does not favor me, but I can listen. I can listen to people. Okay.
Krishna knows best. Probably a program might change. Krishna is in control. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And His Grace Kavikana Prabhu, thank you. At this point, we're going to ask other, and then we try to make Hare Krishna mantra to express our appreciation to our guest speaker and His Grace, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Hare,
Panchakalpataruyascha Kripasindayocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Prema Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Sama Veda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful.
So, by Guru Krishna's grace, we all meet again here, same place, same time, same topic. SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM tomorrow. Hare Krishna.